Who doesn't like free stuff, right? We all like free stuff. So hang in with me and I'll show you how you can have some free plants in your home. Welcome friends to another episode of Blossom and Bourbon. My name is Mark. I'm the owner here at Creative Occasions. Welcome to my workroom. Tonight while I'm working, I'm going to be sipping on this Olde Raleigh blended bourbon whiskey. It's from Zebulon, North Carolina. Never heard of it. Shireen found this and brought it in. Shireen, thank you so much. Let's see what this is like. That's really pretty good. I haven't done much research on this distillery, so I don't know about the blending process and all, but it tastes very good. Tastes like it's got a little bit of rye in it. There's a little bit of heat in the back, but it sounds lovely. 4,000 subscribers, you guys. Okay, thank you so much. That's amazing. So if you're new to the channel, if you're just watching for the first time, please remember to like and subscribe. Hit that little bell icon so that you'll be notified of new content. So, free plants. How do you get free plants? You propagate them, right? And the term propagation comes from the breeding of either plant or animal material from the parent. So we're going to take plants, and I'm going to show you how you can make more plants. So we've got some of these things that we sell here at the shop. They're like test tubes. It's an easy way to design. You can just stick flowers in it, but it's also a great way to showcase your propagation and your plants while they're developing roots. One of the top things that you want to remember to do when you're cutting a plant to propagate, let's say this is getting a little leggy and I want to cut this to grow some more, is remember to cut above the node. The node is that joint where the leaf comes out. You don't want to cut through that and then put that in down in the water. That will not work well, but cut above the node. And so we're going to have that little bit of stem left hanging out, and then that is going to go in this nice clean water. Okay? So now I've got another one here that I started that'll show you how this kind of looks. See that root that's developed on there? A couple of roots, 3 of them, and they've come from the nodes. That's why you want to leave those on. They're very important. And this now is ready to be planted in soil. As your freshly cut plant is developing, it's important to remember to keep the water clean and fresh. I change the water every 2 to 3 days when I'm doing this, and that helps develop the root system in the plant. If you want to kind of display your cuttings in something like this is a great way to do it. You simply slip these into this little test tube gizmo, and that really is kind of attractive. Another thing that you can do with that, because in this case there are 5 test tubes. I have 2 that have propagated plants in it. I'm just going to take another one and I'm going to put a flower there. I'm going to take another one, put a flower there. And because you know, if you've been watching me for long at all, that I'm a huge fan of curly willow. Curly willow is a great product to propagate. If you look closely at the bottom of that stem, you'll be able to see those little bumps. Those little bumps are the beginnings of the roots that are coming out on this stem. Sometimes when you get curly willow, it's not quite as fresh. It needs to be green and fresh for this to work. Sometimes it's a little too dry and past maturity. But in this case, this has been freshly cut and put in water, and those little bumps are the roots that are coming out. So now we have a very attractive kind of organic looking design that's hard at work, growing more roots here, as well as providing some lovely, beautiful florals for your home. Another way to propagate, beyond just using water, is to use soil. There are some plants like spider plants that are very easy to propagate. And literally, if you have the mature spider plant like this, with the little spiders coming off of it, you can take a pot of soil, you can put the little spider in it, kind of pin it down with a wire, and keep the soil moist. I'll show you how to do that in just a second. And the spider will actually root to that soil. And then you just sever it away from the mother plant, and it's ready to go. You've created another free plant. Succulents are great for propagation. I unfortunately did not have any live succulents in the shop today, but I have this beautiful fake one. I'm going to trim on it and show you how this works. You know, when you're dealing with succulents, occasionally a petal will fall off or something. So we're going to just pretend that one of these petals is just going to fall off, right? And that's what happens, and you think, what can I do with that? I'll just toss it, right? No, don't toss it. Put it in the soil, just like that. You can turn it right side up or upside down or whatever. It doesn't make any. I like that. That looks more like it's growing. We just want to tap the soil lightly around it so that the base of that petal is in the soil. And a good way I find to mist the soil when you're working with this for propagation, because you do want to keep it moist, is to use a spray bottle. Rather than dumping a cup of water on this, which it would be too much water, you can cause these to root. But instead, just use plain fresh water and just mist it. Just give it a little mist. That's going to keep the soil nice and moist. You do want to do that every day or two to be sure to keep the soil moist, and eventually this little guy will sprout roots. It'll just grow right down in the soil and grow you a whole new sedum or succulent plant. It really is, the process of propagation is very easy. I propagated this coleus. We had a storm. I have these in my yard in big pots on our patio. And we had a storm, and this guy broke off, as well as some little ones. And so I just cut it, gave it a fresh cut, put it in water, and lo and behold, look at that. All of those ends grew these nice root systems that were at a little bit earlier in the year. We could plant these, they would grow great outside. And that's kind of the volume of roots that you want too. You want a pretty decent concentration of roots in order for them to survive in the soil. All right, so just to recap, the top 3 tips for propagation are, remember when you're cutting to cut above the node on the plant, that little joint, because that's important for the root system to develop. Number 2, be sure and use clean water, change the water as the root system develops. It may take, a week or 2 for the roots to really develop well enough for planting. So be sure and be diligent about keeping the water fresh. And number 3, if you're using a propagation method that involves soil, don't dump water on it. Use a spray bottle with fresh, clean water just to keep the soil moist. Becca, thank you so much for reaching out and asking about this episode, because I know that you're a plant girl. I know that your house is filled with them. I've seen pictures. Get thee to the liquor store and buy you some of this Olde Raleigh Bourbon too. It's great. Thanks so much for joining us, you guys. Until next time, cheers to you and to flowers every day. Thanks for joining.